Søren Kierkegaard, in one of his poetry books, begins with saying that who is the poet but a man who has a skilled and trained tongue, in which when he laments and he cries out, he cannot spew anything but sweet music. And the public is delighted to hear this music coming out from him, and in their applause for him, they wanting to hear more, they ask him to suffer more so that they might enjoy more. I think this statement is really cool, but I don't think that the public necessarily wants the artist, to suffer, but they want to participate in the energy that the artist is capable of putting out. Art is a ritual in which all parties involved, both the public, the observing audience, and the creators, but especially the creator, are able and capable of experiencing primal energy or primal emotion without having to do any damage either around them or within themselves. That you can read about someone's trauma in a piece of work without having and learn from it without having to go through. And so there's a matter of education there. And you see this especially in pictures, with how in museums the paintings that really stand the test through time, perhaps less than modern, are the paintings that resonate with a very primal theme, a very big idea. You also see it in the teaching that has passed on through time, of when you read the notes of any master, you are hearing this idea of, oh, you should just develop one thing in the painting and just make that one thing happen. And okay, so you make one big idea and it's a clear statement and you just go and do that. But reading it and then actually being able to apply this piece of information are two very different things. And it's hard to apply because you end up thinking that the thing you have to say in order for it to be worthwhile is something that is grandiose, or something that will change the perception of another person's life, that they might really get well. And of course you're paralyzed and you go, no thanks, and you just end up almost not drawing at all. So what do? And I've been really thinking about this a lot, like how can I avoid something? Because if I sit down and I say I want to make a painting with these qualities, then it's too much work. It's way too hard to sit and make the laundry list, and it's gonna be like this, and then I'm just gonna sit and look at that list and I'm not gonna do it. I have never completed a painting in this manner. So what can one do? And you have to find ways to sneak around this. And one thing that I found was in the Drawn to Life book by Walt Steinfeld, his notes from his 20 years of teaching animation, was that in this whole volume of work of teaching, it always goes back to criticizing the student's work based on action. It is the mantra throughout the whole book is, do you promise to seek only the action and draw only the action and just do only that? And the thing is about it, because he ends up like pushing characters to do more. If the model stood like this, he will make the model stand like this, or really push in and push forth and push out. And in doing this, you end up creating pictures that have a liveliness to them. That is, and because you're just dealing with acting, right? So you sneak past this block That's what at least what I felt. And then because you're working with your own life, you're looking around, you're saying, well, what are the actions that I do and I might do? And really to scale down the volume of grandiosity that you might depict, and just go and look at your own life and see what are the things that you quite like, and just do studies first, perhaps, and before you commit to larger paintings that are in nature, just to receive and to appreciate. So you develop your sensitivity towards your own interest. And then in drawing things that have a primal action, that you're just doing, oh, I'm just doing this, it's a very simple thing, I'm just doing this, then the audience that you will end up eventually having will read into those paintings, and they will make their own stories. You don't need to let them know what your painting is about, because honestly, you cannot be at every smartphone. I mean, of course, you can write next to it, but that won't be the thing that will be shared. My painting is actually about this and this and this, but if the painting and the picture should just announce itself, and really once it is published in any format, it's really out of your hands of what people will think of it and what they will read into it. And that's probably for the best, that they might, in creating a story and like, oh yes, I know this, it's like this and this and so, they build something out of it. And and whenever somebody builds something, they like it. They go, oh yes, and they create a whole scenario, and they end up quite liking what they built. And you might too appreciate what you do if you're just working on very simple things, because then you can just, I'm just gonna nail this simple thing. And then in having really consciously worked with that simple thing, you might have described something that a lot more people would be able to relate to than your idea of making something that, it will always be better than having no idea. Before you go in, always work towards a target so that you can aim for it, and you also know when you're missing, because then we can evaluate what you were doing, and then we could all participate in this ritual of art, painting and drawing. Yeah. And it would be a good time. Thanks for listening.